Hello everyone, Mr. Wolf Recaps here. Today we will watch the film called Hellraiser. Roland Voigt is a wealthy businessman who looks like a typical middle-aged man to most, but hides a dark secret. One day he makes his assistant Serena go to a secluded place and get a puzzle box. The naive girl doesn't know how dangerous the thing is and keeps it all day. In the evening, she attends Voigt's house party and meets a prostitute named Joey. They talk for a while before Serena asks him to go to the part of the house that has double doors. Her boss ordered her to do it, but she has no idea why. Joey goes into the deep corners of the mansion until he finally reaches a room with double doors and a high ceiling. In the middle is a platform that holds a puzzle. Voight appears from the darkness and asks Joey to solve the puzzle, claiming that he will be rewarded for it. The guy wants to leave at this point, thinking that the situation is too strange, but he is afraid to stay. He is surprised that the puzzle is not too difficult to solve. As he fits the last piece, the blade pops out and pierces his palm. A horrified Joey screams in pain, unaware of what is coming next. Seconds later, a portal opens, with chains coming out and latching onto Joey's skin. He screams one last time before being torn apart. Voigt simply observes the incident, knowing what the puzzle is capable of. He looks at the portal, addressing Leviathan, the entity that rules over hell. The scene changes abruptly to 6 years later. Riley is a recovering addict who lives with her brother Matt, his boyfriend Colin and their roommate Nora. One afternoon, she is in her room having fun with her boyfriend, Trevor. Other people in the house can hear them in the kitchen, which makes things awkward. Trevor leaves right after, leading Matt to believe that he is no good for Riley. He talks to his sister and the two argue about him being in control. After the fight, Riley goes to Trevor's place and starts smoking. We learn that she was lying to her brother about being sober. Trevor asks Riley to come with him to the abandoned house. He delivered the box to the house a few days ago and knows there is something valuable inside. Riley agrees and the two break into the house over the next hour. When they finally get hold of the box and open it, they find a puzzle cube inside. Unaware of the danger it will bring, Riley takes the puzzle home. She later fights with her brother when he finds out that she lied about being sober. Matt, furious at her carelessness, asks her to get out of his house. In a fit of rage, Riley takes the puzzle, packs her bags and leaves. She goes to the playground and gets food to escape from reality. Then he starts playing with the puzzle, solving it by accident. The blade emerges, but the hand is missing. Riley is soon overcome with an eerie feeling. She feels that someone is watching her and as if on cue, a silhouette can be seen in the darkness. The entity's name is Pinhead and he is a worker from hell whose job it is to rip out the souls of people who solve the puzzle. However, since the puzzle blade missed Riley's hand, he is unable to take it. Instead, he claims 2 more souls in her place and causes her chest to bleed. Elsewhere, Matt wakes up from a nightmare and feels bad for yelling at Riley. He quickly runs outside to look for her and finds her passed out on the playground. Trying to help her up, he holds the box and accidentally cuts himself. Not realizing that he is now on Pinhead's hit list, he takes Riley to a nearby bathroom. Suddenly, blood begins to flow from the sink, heralding Pinhead's arrival. A loud scream wakes up Riley, but when she enters the bathroom, her brother is gone. She panics and immediately calls 911. But since Matt is completely gone, they don't have much to do. They simply take a distraught Riley home and ask her to file a missing person report. The next morning, Colin asks Riley where Matt is, but she can't answer him for fear of sounding crazy. They get into an argument because Colleen thinks Riley isn't trying to help the police because of the fight she had with Matt. When the conversation starts to get overwhelming, she storms out and goes to Trevor for comfort. They spend some time together which makes Riley forget about her problems for a moment. However, she is soon haunted by visions of Cenobites, creatures from hell who are slaves to Pinhead. The next morning, she asks Trevor to help her figure out the secret of the puzzle. She's sure her brother's disappearance has something to do with it because Pinhead was holding the puzzle while torturing her last night. Trevor helps her find the owner of the abandoned house and it turns out to be none other than Serena, the assistant who was given the puzzle at the beginning of the film. They find her in the health center dying of lung disease. Serena tells the couple to forget about Matt and leave the puzzle to her. She also tells them about her billionaire boss, Voigt, who was killed because of his obsession with the puzzle. Riley insists Serena tell her more about the puzzle, but she refuses. Instead, she tries to pry the puzzle from her hand and gets cut in the process. Serena accepts her fate and claims she did it to herself. Later, she sees Cenobites in her room following her around the health center, which ultimately leads to her downfall. When she gets home, Riley looks up Voight's name on the internet and finds articles about him being a collector of occult artifacts. She also sees that he was connected to several mysterious disappearances prior to his own disappearance 6 years ago. Riley knows it's all about the puzzle and wants to go to Voight's last mansion to investigate. Trevor doesn't want to support her anymore, he's afraid he'll be taken away like Matt and Serena. Therefore, Riley goes to the mansion alone. She breaks in and immediately finds the place spooky. It has huge metal gates that look like they were made to protect against something dangerous, but Riley's questions are answered when she reaches Voight's study. It consists of several images of Pinhead and the Cenobites. Riley also gets her hands on a journal that explains that each human the Cenobites have disfigured and skinned in a different way. She learns that the puzzle has 6 different shapes, and depending on which shape you solve it, you are tormented by entities from the afterlife. It looks like Voight was searching for some sick form of immortality that he was trying to achieve through the puzzle. After hours of reading, Riley suddenly hears someone whisper her name. She looked around and found Matt in the halls. She runs to hug him, but is horrified to find that his skin has been peeled off. She retreats in shock and is caught by Colin, Trevor and Nora, who come to help her. As Nora and Trevor wait outside, Riley explains to Colin what she's learned in the past few hours. She claims that if she brings the puzzle to its 6th and final shape, the god of hell will grant her wish. She can seek love, life, knowledge, power, and even resurrection. The last way is how she plans to get Matt back. Colleen thinks she's lost her mind, which frustrates Riley. She goes to show him the puzzle only to find out that she dropped it somewhere in the mansion. Outside, Nora is locked in a room due to the house's old mechanical setup. As Trevor tries to pull her out, someone else in the same room as her solves the puzzle. The person uses to stab Nora and chases her out of the room. Terrified, Nora remains on the ground, unaware that her doom is near, as the puzzle injured her. Colin and Trevor pick her up and run outside, while Riley picks up the puzzle and follows behind. After they leave, we learn that the man in the walls is Vogt himself. The trio takes Nora outside the mansion, to their van. As they try to get out of the mansion, a sudden force causes them to lose their way. As they drive in a panic, a puzzle begins to move, which throws them into fear. Unaware of the fact that the Cenobites have begun their execution, the trio drive in fear, not knowing which way to go. Nora, on the other hand, finds herself taken by the Cenobites, where she eventually meets her death through Pinhead. Riley sees Pinhead's reflection in the mirror and realizes the situation. Consequently, their van crashes and they get out to find Nora nowhere to be seen. On their way back, Riley meets Pinhead, who offers Matt's resurrection for 2 more victims, which she refuses. Instantly caught up in the conversation, Riley is stabbed and is now branded. Pinhead then tells her that it's either her own life or the 2 other victims. Somehow the group finds their way back to the ferries when a Cenobite follows them, failing to catch up with the other 2. Colin collapses in fear of what lies ahead. However, the Cenobite leaves him for the now marked Riley. In the process, the Cenobite injures Trevor, but Riley, refusing to give up any of the other 2 as victims, solves the puzzle and stabs the Cenobite, who then dies. Finally, the 3 return to the mansion. However, their safety is still not assured, with many Cenobites heading their way. Just then, Riley locks the metal door when she realizes that the frame design surrounding the entire mansion is keeping the Cenobites out. Leaving the injured Trevor to rest, Colin and Riley set out on their own to find a solution. Now alone and resting, Trevor gets a visitor who is revealed to be Voight. It was further revealed that Trevor was Voight's lackey and was working to find people to sacrifice to the box, including Riley. A crack of metal reveals a device attached to Voight that twists and leaves him in pain. He then presses on Trevor's wounds and tells him to speed up the process and offer sacrifices to get his reward, as he has no more patience. To capture the Cenobite, Riley and Colin move Trevor to control the switch. Next, Riley offers herself to Pinhead, but actually uses herself as bait to lure and capture the Cenobite. They manage to trap one, but unfortunately, Riley drops the artifact in the process. With everyone on different sides of the metal cage, Colin goes to find him but fails as Voight is fast-rated and promptly stabs Colin. Shocked by Voight's existence, Riley informs Trevor, but he is unfazed. Riley then learns what Trevor did for Voight and how he was with her in hopes of sacrificing her. He also learns that Voight was able to get the sixth puzzle solved 6 years ago and that the god of hell granted him his wish. He wanted the new sensation of pleasure that attached the device to his body. This is when she learns that the truth behind every reward the Cenobites offer is pain. As the puzzle reconfigures itself like every other time, a portal opens for another victim, and on Voight's command, Trevor opens the gates letting the Cenobites enter. Riley pleads with Colin to run, which he does, but is followed by the Cenobites. Seizing the opportunity, Voight locks all the gates, trapping the Cenobites, demanding that Leviathan release him from the gift. Just as Leviathan appears in the sky, Voight fails to control Riley, who then takes the box, unlocks the door, and goes to find Colin. With the tables turned, Voight now gets down on his knees and asks Pinhead to just let him die so he doesn't have to suffer anymore. Trapped and nearly ready to be mutilated, Colin screams in pain. Riley arrives on the scene and offers the Cenobite another sacrifice in Colin's place. Riley goes to Trevor, who was originally sent by Voight to stop Colin from escaping, and stabs him. The Cenobite instantly frees Colin and captures Trevor, who is disfigured then and there. Riley succeeds in saving Colin from torture. Meanwhile, Voight asks Pinhead for anything but a gift. True to her basics, she informs him that no gift can be undivided. However, she tells him that an exchange was possible and moreover admits that they were wrong about him, that he never sought sensation and that everything he did for pleasure was for power. Voight immediately decides to trade his gift for power. Pinhead then retreats and allows Leviathan to give him his final salvation. Undoubtedly, the metal device is removed from his body and his wounds heal. It doesn't last long though, as a long chain crashes through the ceiling and crashes through it, lifting it up. Resolutely, everything calms down, and Riley goes to the Cenobites, who offer her a reward for all the sacrifices. Her brother Matt calls her as they offer to resurrect him, but she chooses not to because she has already learned from Voight how everything is twisted. She tells them that she accepts his death. The Cenobites inform her that she chose lamentation as a gift by choosing to live with the guilt of all the sacrifices she made. She leaves an artifact on the floor that is reconfigured with the disappearance of the Cenobite. Riley and Colin return to the van where Coin asks her if she made the right decision, but Riley remains silent. In the final scene, Voight wakes up naked, hairless, and trapped. He then brutally transforms into a Cenobite, receiving the gift of power he truly wanted. I hope you enjoyed the short preview of the film and be sure to watch it. You might like the film. Greetings.